Willie D Live.
What's up, family? U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said that Iran's new supreme leader is dead. There's only one problem with that, fam. He hasn't provided any proof. Now, you know, when the United States do something that they think they can brag about, they're going to provide proof. You know, when they know that they've accomplished something, which isn't often, but if they had did this, if they had accomplished this, I'm pretty certain that they would have provided proof. Let's take a look at this article in PA Media that serves as the basis as to why Pete Hegseth would say such a thing. A large explosion rocked an area of Iran's capital where thousands were gathered for the annual state-organized Quds Day to support the Palestinians and call for Israel's demise. Israel had earlier warned that it would target the area in central Tehran. There were no immediate reports of casualties in the explosion on Friday, but the decision to proceed with the mass demonstrations and Israel's threat to target the area underscored the fierce determination on both sides nearly 2 weeks into a war that has rattled the global economy and shows no sign of letting up. Iran had continued to launch widespread daily missile and drone attacks on Israel and neighboring Gulf states. It has effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz, through which a fifth of the world's traded oil passes, even as U.S. and Israeli warplanes pummel military and other targets across Iran. And there's a picture there, one of the pictures of some of the damage that was done. I was looking at this woman's headscarf, and it looks like I thought at first it was some type of design, but then it looks like blood. Okay, so Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei, on Thursday vowed to continue the attack and keep the strait closed in his first public statement since succeeding his father, who was killed in the opening day of war. Mr. Khamenei has not been seen in public since taking over leadership, and the written statement was read by a state TV anchor. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said that Mr. Khamenei is wounded and likely disfigured, with growing global concerns about a possible energy crisis and no end to the war in sight. The price of Brent crude oil, the international standard, remained more than $100 per barrel. And we can stop right there, fam. That was the celebration that was bombed on. Now, here's what I find extremely interesting. Israel warned them that they would strike. Israel warned that they would target that area where that celebration was going to take place at on that particular day. And the people went and celebrated anyway. See, I don't know I know for a fact I wouldn't have done something like that. See, this is what I mean by those people out there in Iran. They are cut from a different cloth. They don't rock like we do out here. You know, people out here, when they attack, oftentimes, people out here, they'll attack when they have size, numbers, or weaponry, right? They attack when they have size, weaponry, or numbers. That's typically when people in the United States attack. They're not going to go into a situation and say, yeah, what you going to do? Oh, you going to do what? Well, we going anyway. We're going to do it anyway. What you going to do about it? Most people in the United States are not built like that. And this is why the United States is not going to win a war against Iran, because Iran ain't got no quit, and they will never surrender. Pretty much like Iraq did. Iraq did not surrender. America surrendered. Yeah, they killed a lot of people, but they surrendered. They got the hell on up out of there. because they got tired of them blowing up their tanks and killing their people and chopping off those heads of those soldiers, which, by the way, was grossly underreported. Thousands of U.S. soldiers died in Iraq, but they're not going to tell you that. Just like they're not going to tell you the real numbers of soldiers who has been killed in Iran. They're not going to tell you that. You know, you got people that like to say, well, you know, those people are protesting. They're not necessarily there to protest in agreement with Iran. They're not there to, they're not necessarily there to support Iran. They're there to go against Iran, and and they're not there to protest. They're not there for support of Palestinians. They're there against the Palestinians. Hey, man, you can say what you want to say, but that don't even make sense to me. None of that makes sense to me. Anybody want to know the real reason why oil is so expensive? The big companies are using this as an excuse to raise prices. Yeah. See, a small percentage of it, a small percentage of that oil comes through that area. The bulk of the oil that is on the market does not come from that area, but yet the price still rises. And companies are using that as an excuse to raise gas prices. Now, I know what they're going to say. Well, we're raising the prices to offset the lack of oil that we're going to be able to import. So we're just getting ahead of the curve. Nah, man, this is price gouging. There are a lot of people getting rich off this war. A lot of people. Look, Barron Trump got rich off the war. We got richer. Remember, fam, he invested $30 million in oil stocks 2 days before the war started. A lot of people getting rich off this war. A lot of Trumps getting rich off this war. Trump's sons and his son-in-law, they invested in a drone company. They invested in a drone company that's making drones that the U.S. is using in the war. A lot of people getting paid off this war. A lot of people. And Trump is a transactional president. Oh, he's a transactional person, but so he has to get something out of it every time. So you better believe whatever he can get, he's going to make sure before anybody get anything, he's going to make sure he get his. A lot of people getting paid off this war. All of that destruction that you see, most of us, we see the destruction and we go, man, that's horrible. We see that destruction, we say that's horrible. We see those blown up buildings. We see schools decimated. We see cities, entire cities, totally destroyed. And we see heartbreak and pain. But these business dudes who get paid off these wars and the warmongers, they see opportunity. They see prosperity. They see wealth. Yeah, man, they see dollar signs. That's what they see. Because guess what? Besides, so you got the people who are going to invest in the stocks. You're going to have people who invest that they're going to invest on options. They're going to invest at the stock market go down. You're going to have people that's going to invest those same people going to invest when the market going to go back up, because a lot of them, they're doing inside trading, so they're going to know when it's getting ready to turn. So they're going to get paid off for that. They're going to get paid as it go down. They're going to get paid when it go back up. You got people like the Trumps who are going to get paid, who deliver equipment, supplies, military equipment, right? Then you got the Brown and Roots and Halliburtons and stuff, who are going to go in and rebuild. You got the food companies who are going to supply food to the disenfranchised and the people in Iran who are going to be left homeless, right? You got the people who are going to go in and build the temporary camps, right? It's just a big old money grab, fam. It's one big money grab. One big money grab. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's not about liberation. It's never been about liberation. None of these wars has ever been about liberation. None of them. It's always been about money. These people who are in control care less about the people. They don't care nothing. They don't care about the people. They care about themselves, their own families, their buddies. They care about that. The people are just there to serve them. The people are the pawns. They care zero about you or me. They care zero about our family members who go off to war and die in the name of country, patriotism. Man, if these leaders had the same amount of patriotism that they expect from soldiers to have, I can guarantee you there'd be a whole lot less wars. Because they ain't got the disco balls they act like they got. No more talk.